Good morning, students. After having a detailed study of the 6 great Mughals of the Mughal Empire in the previous lectures, let's continue further and study about the administration during the Mughal Empire. तो सबसे पहले हम देखेंगे about the position of the emperor, that is the king, in Mughal administration. यानी मुगल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में एम्परर का क्या पोजीशन था. मुगल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन था वो सेंट्रल एशियन, इंडियन और पर्शियन सिस्टम्स ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का एक ब्लेंड यानी कि मिश्रण था. Administration of Mughal dynasty was a fine example of a centralized structure. At the center of the Mughal state was the emperor, who was all powerful. Next in line of importance was the nobility or the ruling elite. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन स्ट्रक्चर में मुगल एम्परर को 2 प्राइमरी यानी कि प्राथमिक और क्रूशियल यानी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण ड्यूटीज थी. एक थी जहानाबादी यानी कि प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ द स्टेट और दूसरी थी जहांगीरी यानी कि एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द अंपायर का विस्तार करना. Along with this, the emperor was the head of the state. He was also the lawmaker, the chief executive, the commander-in-chief of the army, and the final dispenser of justice. पर ये सब फंक्शंस और ड्यूटीज़ परफॉर्म करने में एम्परर को उनके ऑफिसर्स और मिनिस्टर्स से सपोर्ट मिलता था. But the final authority was retained by the emperor. इसके अलावा एम्परर और उनके ऑफिशियल्स कई सारी ऐसी पॉलिसीज़ और प्रोग्राम्स उनकी जनरल पब्लिक के लिए घोषित करते थे जो उनके इकोनॉमिक और कल्चरल प्रोग्रेस में काफ़ी हेल्पफुल थे. In this way, the emperor also ensured prosperity and prestige at political and social levels. तो अब हम देखते हैं कि सेंट्रल लेवल पर मुगल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज किया हुआ था. बाबर और हुमायूं के जो रूलिंग पीरियड्स थे वो शॉर्ट और फुल ऑफ upheavals यानी कि उथल पुथल वाले थे. So they could not pay much attention to a definite system of administration. With Akbar began an all-round development of the empire, as a result of which an efficient system of administration was introduced under him. सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सिस्टम के अंडर अकबर ने कई सारे ऑफिशियल्स अपॉइंट किए और उन सब ऑफिशियल्स को अपनी ड्यूटीज़ असाइन कर दी. द फॉलोइंग लिस्ट शोज द नेम ऑफ इम्पॉर्टेंट ऑफिशियल्स एंड द ड्यूटीज़ असाइंड टू देम इन द सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ द मुगल एम्पायर ड्यूरिंग द अकबर्स रूल. द फर्स्ट एंड द foremost one, the head was the emperor, the king. Wazir, he was the prime minister. Diwan, he was the head of the revenue department. Mir Bakshi, he was given the charge of military. Khane Saman, he attended to the needs of the royal household. Sadre Sadur, his duty was to maintain the records of grants and donations made by the emperor. And Qazi, that post was given to the chief judge of the empire who looked into the justice of the Mughal empire. Now let us have a look at the provincial administration carried out during the Mughal reign. Provincial administration के लिए empire provinces में divided था जिनको सूबास कहते थे. ये सूबा एक सूबेदार या तो गवर्नर गवर्न करता था. वो पॉलिटिकल और मिलिट्री फंक्शंस भी परफॉर्म करता था. He was an important link between the emperor एंड द प्रोविंस। हर एक प्रोविंस या तो सूबा को सब डिवाइड कर दिया जाता था एंड ईच सब डिविजन वॉज नॉन एज डिस्ट्रिक्ट और सरकार। ईच डिस्ट्रिक्ट or sarkar was divided into many parganas. Each pargana was further divided into many villages. The village was the smallest unit of administration. The kotwal was the in charge of the town administration. He was given both civil as well as police duties. He caught criminals and was in charge of maintaining law and order. Now, something about the army administration during the Mughal rule. The Mughal army consisted of cavalry यानी कि घुड़सवार सेना, infantry यानी कि पैदल चल के वॉर करने वाली सेना, artillery means कि तोपखाना, and elephants. The Mir Bakshi was the in charge of the army. He was responsible for the recruitment यानी कि appointment of the soldiers, maintaining their hulia, looking after the branding of the horses and the elephants, and he even commanded the army when he was asked to do it. He also looked after all sorts of supplies to the army and training of the soldiers. Mir Bakshi also deputed Mansabdars for the security of the palace and changed them every day. Above all, he was the military advisor to the emperor. The Mir-e-Atish or Daroga-e-Topkhana was in charge of the artillery of the emperor. The Daroga-e-Dakchoki was the head of the department of the state. He collected important information about various ministries who were appointed by him in provinces or elsewhere, and in turn kept the emperor informed about every important affair within the empire. तो अब हम देखेंगे कि मुगल्स अपने इतने बड़े अंपायर को कैसे चलाते थे और उसे चलाने के लिए क्या सिस्टम बनाई हुई थी और किसकी हेल्प लेते थे. सो लेट अस सी समथिंग अबाउट द मनसबदारी सिस्टम. द वर्ड मनसब मीन्स अ रैंक. मनसबदार उस इंडिविजुअल को कहा जाता था जो एक मनसब यानी कि रैंक या तो पोजीशन को होल्ड करता था. अकबर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड हिज नोबिलिटी. नोबिलिटी मीन्स सब ऑफिसर्स एंड द आर्मी इनटू द मनसबदारी सिस्टम. This system was not hereditary. When a mansabdar died, his jagir was given away to someone else. ये एक तरह का ग्रेडिंग सिस्टम था जो मुगल्स रैंक, सैलरी और मिलिट्री रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज फिक्स करने के लिए यूज करते थे. रैंक और सैलरी एक न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू से फिक्स किया जाता था जिसको ज़ैट कहते थे. जितनी हाई ज़ात होती थी उतनी ही प्रेस्टिजियस यानी कि ज़्यादा अच्छी उस नोबल की पोजीशन होती थी और जितनी अच्छी पोजीशन उतनी अच्छी सैलरी. मनसबदार की मिलिट्री रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ में उनको एक स्पेसिफिक नंबर ऑफ सवार यानी कि घुड़सवार सोल्जर्स मेंटेन करने होते थे. द मनसबदार्स वर लॉयल एंड इम्पॉर्टेंट ऑफिशियल्स थ्रू whom the emperor controlled the empire. Their salary was fixed in cash. However, they were given jagirs यानी कि small pieces of land for maintaining their expenses. The revenue of jagir or the landed estate become the income of the mansabdars in addition to their salary. The mansabdar used this money to pay his soldiers and maintain his household. The mansabdar was personally chosen by the emperor and could be promoted, demoted, or transferred. And now something about the revenue administration during the rule of the Mughals. तो एक लार्ज एम्पायर को बनाए रखने के लिए मुगल एम्परर्स को फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज की ज़रूरत पड़ती थी. फॉर दिस दे डिपेंडेड मोस्टली on two revenue sources, land and trade. Most revenue reforms were carried out by Emperor Akbar. तो अब हम देखते हैं एम्परर अकबर की लैंड रेवेन्यू सिस्टम के बारे में. राजा टोडरमल जो अकबर के रेवेन्यू मिनिस्टर थे, उसने लैंड रेवेन्यू सिस्टम बनाई थी. This system of land revenue was known as Todermal's Bandobast. Under this system, land was measured, and according to the fertility of land, it was categorized as good, average or bad. उसके हिसाब से ही रेवेन्यू फिक्स किया जाता था अकॉर्डिंग टू द फर्टिलिटी. जो कितनी फर्टाइल है उसके हिसाब से उसको कैटेगरी में डिवाइड करते थे और फिर रेवेन्यू फिक्स करते थे. टोडरमल ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इट इन सच अ वे दैट ड्यूरिंग एवरी सीजन surveyors visited the village. These surveyors measured the land. Earlier, ropes were used as a tool for measurement. Todermal realized that ropes shrank when dry and lengthened when wet. Hence, he introduced the bamboo reed ropes. The reeds were joined together with iron rings. This device brought about accuracy in measurement. The Dahashala system, Dah means 10, was another system of land revenue that was introduced in 1580. According to this system, the peasants were told to pay a tax that was fixed on the basis of the average production and the average price over the last 10 years. Normally, 1/3 of this amount was to be paid to the ruler. At the time of harvest, the village headman, known as the Muqaddam, collected the land revenue in cash or in kind and gave them a receipt. After that, he paid the whole amount to the state treasury. After having a brief idea about the land revenue system of Akbar, let us see something about the Mughal court. The Mughal court was headed by the emperor. He sat on a magnificent throne. The nobles sat, or some even stood, at a lower level than the emperor. The important nobles sat near the emperor. There were two halls of audience. First one was Diwan-e-Khas. This was the hall of private audience. Here the reports from the nobles and other heads were read at an assigned time and the emperor attended the meeting. The another hall of audience was the Diwan-e-Am. This was the hall of public audience. The general public could come and put up their problems before the emperor in this hall, that is Diwan-e-Am. Towards the 17th century, the Mughal court saw a division, that is the orthodox and the liberals. The liberal group was powerful during the reign of Jahangir and Shah Jahan, whereas the orthodox group was more dominant during Aurangzeb's time. Now, something about the agriculture. Agriculture was the primary occupation, यानी कि main occupation in those time. And land was the most important source of revenue. Hence, all the rulers tried their level best to raise the productivity of the land. They even encouraged peasants to bring more land under cultivation. To encourage this move, they even exempted peasants from taxes if they successfully did so. The peasants paid one-third of the total produce as revenue to the state. This later increased to half. The peasants could not be evicted from the land they cultivated as long as they paid the revenue. But the increasing demand for revenue rendered many peasants landless as they failed to meet the revenue requirements. This category of poor and landless peasants started working on the land owned by the zamindars. They were paid in cash or even kind in lieu of their hard work on the land.